Coming up today, fine arts bands together,
Aviation students take off,
and a teacher's young daughter fought cancer and won.
all this and more starting right now on NTV. Good morning, McKinney North High School. I'm Matthew Abels.
And I'm Taylor Tokars.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is well into its run of performances. The musical brings many of the fine arts programs together in one unique production. Becca Schneider has more about this collaboration.
Every other year, McKinney North's band, choir, and theater work together to produce a joint production. Theater director Mr. Doyle says that the collaboration is an important tradition for North.
Well, this is a tradition that McKinney North has done for a while now. Every other year, there's that collective musical, the fine arts musical.
This year's collective musical is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, a classic comedy featuring a dynamic cast of characters.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is about two men who are both con artists, and they're after the fortune of the same woman. So they're competing against one another to see who can win this woman's money or take this woman's money the fastest.
The inspiration for this particular musical comes from a movie from the 80s called Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. There are a lot of plot twists. It involves a lot of cunning, a lot of daring, a lot of money, and like I said, the whole lighthearted aspect of it has been a lot of fun to work with.
Band director Mr. Kirschwheel says that production requires a rigorous practice schedule for band and orchestra students.
The pit orchestra, which is combined orchestra and band students, a very select group, we rehearse twice a week in November and December, and then we'll go into dress rehearsal mode.
Mr. Doyle says that the collective musical is very important to North's fine arts program.
So it's not just theater kids that are in it, but choir kids and the choir director is involved, band kids and the band director is involved, orchestra kids and the orchestra director is involved. So we have a lot of different aspects from the entire McKinney North Fine Arts Department that are involved in this production.
If you would like to see Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, it's running today at 7:30, tomorrow at 2 o'clock and 7:30, and then Sunday at 2 o'clock. This has been Becca Schneider for NTV.
Miss Slate is a freshman English teacher here at North. Her 11-year-old daughter, Ellie, was recently diagnosed with leukemia. Rachel Jones has more about their battle with the disease.
Ellie Slate was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in August of 2015, and she almost immediately went into treatment. Ellie was concerned when she first found out she was diagnosed.
Probably a wave of fear, anger, and sadness because, one, I didn't know what I was about to go through. I was worried that I was going to die.
Most cancer patients say that the cancer treatments are brutal, but Ellie's experience with chemo wasn't a negative one.
Actually, chemo just made me tired, so really I would just sleep all the time.
During Ellie's battle with cancer, Miss Slate found herself in the difficult position of having to watch her daughter go through physical and emotional pain. But she says that her natural positive attitude helped her deal with the situation.
Being a positive person is just something that's always been important to me, and I always feel like it's a choice that you can make. And it's just a choice that I just wake up every day and, the glass is half full.
At one point during Ellie's illness, Miss Slate was able to come to school regularly. Being away from Ellie was difficult, but Miss Slate says coming back to school was easy with the support from her team.
Just been a support system all the way from my immediate team, through other teachers, through my principals.
Miss Slate's team at North wasn't the only support they got. The Slates remember the community support as something they will never forget.
It was pretty crazy because everyone was putting orange in their houses. Even people who didn't know who I even was were getting inspired, and I think that's really cool.
It was very joyous to see that you had that much support, and all you can think of is, my initial reaction was, oh my gosh, how can I ever repay these people?
Ellie was very excited to receive the news about being in remission.
It's pretty really great because I knew that I was getting closer to being able to do everything I used to do.
Ellie has been in remission since October. While Ellie's cancer battle was hard, both Ellie and Miss Slate have learned to look at life in a new perspective.
And so I think the most important thing is just to appreciate the small, everyday things that we sometimes take for granted.
With Ellie in remission, the Slate family is optimistic about the future of her health. This has been Rachel Jones for NTV.
The McKinney ISD Aviation program is known as one of the most advanced in Texas. In fact, fourth-year students have the opportunity to get internships to gain experience in the field they desire to pursue. Seth Verige has more.
Although many students learn advanced skills in high school, McKinney ISD Aviation has students who are getting a leg up before joining the aviation field by interning at McKinney airports.
These internships benefit me for the future with work experience. This will help me look for a better job in the aviation field.
Senior Jordan Gonzalez explains how the internship has given him the benefit of hands-on experience with airplanes.
With these internships, I'm actually working on planes hands-on, so I'm working on engines and everything that makes an actual plane fly and work.
Aviation teacher Mr. Curtis thought the next step for the students was to pursue internships so that they could set a goal in the aviation field of work.
The internships were, when we got to the fourth-year level, it was kind of the next logical progression. It was time to take the kids out of the classroom and put them in a professional situation where they could see what it was that they were working towards.
Jordan details how he plans to continue studying in this field and how this internship has helped him for the future.
After high school, I plan on joining LeTourneau University, and they have flight courses where I'll actually get every single flight certification, all the licensing, all the way up to airline transport. So with these internships, I'll actually learn everything that I need to know and make it a lot easier in college when I'm going for my licenses.
Mr. Curtis is pleased with the opportunities his program has to offer its students as they progress into the future.
Practical experience. We want them to have the opportunity to go out and see what a professional shop looks like and what the expectations are going to be when they get out into the real world.
This has been Matt G. and Seth Verige for NTV.
And now here's Sarah Taylor with sports.
Thanks, Taylor. Soccer season is just getting started. The boys varsity team is standing at a record of 2-2, while the girls varsity team is starting off their season at 0-2. The girls varsity basketball team currently holds a steady record of 17-8. They play tonight in Wiley. The game starts at 6:15. The boys varsity basketball team is holding on to an impressive record of 15-4. Senior Dominic Ford says that he has high hopes for the playoffs.
Everybody's talented in their own way, so if everybody brings what they do best to the floor, then we have a chance to go as far as we can take ourselves.
The team plays tonight in Wiley at 7:30. Many athletes experience injuries throughout their careers. We talked to some Bulldogs who had to be benched due to an injury. Ashley Jones has the story.
Soccer player Sadie Decker suffered from an arm injury last April, and basketball player Bree Powell hurt her foot during a game.
I was playing soccer and I was running into the box and the goalie came out and I flipped over the goalie and then she landed on top of me and it fractured, tore, and dislocated my elbow.
I injured my foot by jumping and I landed on it badly during the game.
Taking the bench for a few days was a nice break, but it soon became a burden on both Sadie and Bree.
It was nice to not have to work out or anything like that, but about 2 weeks into it, it kind of like gets to you, the fact that you can't do anything, and it was kind of annoying.
I hated it because sometimes I'm watching my team play and I know when there's situations where I could help and I couldn't play, so I didn't like it.
Sadie's recovery took place over several months.
I was in a cast and then I had surgery, and then after surgery I was in another cast and then a brace, and then after that I was in a sleeve.
Although their injuries were different, both Sadie and Bree have changed from their experiences.
When I play soccer I am a little more hesitant still. I shouldn't be, but I am. Physically I can't completely straighten it out, and so when I reach for things it's not the same height as my normal arm.
It made me really realize how much I love basketball, because without basketball, life is boring.
After taking the bench for a couple days, Bree has some advice for her fellow athletes.
Take care of yourself beforehand, before you, you're playing your sport, put your ankle braces on, put your knee pads on. Just think ahead so you don't get injured.
This has been Ashley Jones for NTV.
That's all for sports. Now back to you.
Hey Matthew, if you could go back in the past or into the future, what would you do?
Well, I would take these winning Powerball numbers right here, and I would go in the past, play these numbers, and win over $1 billion and be set for life. What about you?
I would go to see what the 80s looked like.
Well, I have a better plan. We asked McKinney North students what they thought about this topic.
I would travel but forward in time because I would want to see what happens to me in my life.
I would go back in time so I don't have to read the textbook. I can just see what happens through history.
I would go forward in time to see how I die and when I die.
I'd go forward in time to see who I'm gonna marry.
I would go forward in time because I want to see if we ever invent space travel. And I mean, like, I know we already have space travel, but I want to see if we ever go outside this galaxy and have civilization on other planets.
I'd probably go forward in time just to see what my future's like and see if I get it right.
I would choose to go back in time, and I would visit the Middle East and Jerusalem and Egypt to go witness biblical stories that occurred and just witness that for myself.
I would probably go forwards in time just because then I would see how my life progressed. I don't know.
I would rather live in the future because the more you go back, I get less rights.
I go back in time because I'm going to go forward in time already, so I'll know what will happen.
I would probably go forward in time to see if I messed up in my life and I need to fix anything.
I'd go back in time so I can create something and then become super wealthy off of it.
Okay, I'd rather live in the past because they had better TV shows, Hannah Montana.
Yeah. I'd rather live in the future because you get to fly around in cars and stuff. Thanks, yeah. I'll be here all week.
That's all we have for you today.
For more news and sports information, follow us on Twitter at mnhsntv.
Thanks for watching.
And have a great weekend, Bulldogs.